Hey everyone, my name is Geeky Panda, your tactical legitimate weeb, likes to play games, and I'm also one of the creative squad partners out here. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming new update for squad version 8.0. Now, for the USA, they are going to be receiving new specific subfactions, including the 37th Armored Regiment, which will use the M1A2 battle tank supported by the 113 APCs, as well as logistics vehicles and armored personnel carriers for their infantry. They will also receive the new Bradley B-Fist IFV, as well as a regular IFV variant with the tow missiles. Now, the 1st Cavalry Regiment will be filling in as a mechanized unit for the USA faction. 1st Cav will feature regular M2A3 Bradleys, supported by the 113 APCs, as well as logistic vehicles and armored personnel carriers, which includes the Mark 19 variant. They'll also receive the new M10-64A3 mobile mortar carriers, as well, utilizing 120mm mortars. But again, they cannot deploy any mortars at their FOBs. It's basically they get a mobile mortar system at the cost of not having to be able to deploy mortar systems on their FOBs. Next up is the 497 Combat Sustainment Support Battalion, which is going to be a support unit. They will receive 3 M939 logistics trucks supported by the M1151 MRAPs, the 113 APCs, the Mobile Mortar System ABC, and they can deploy an extra hab and ATGM similar to other conventional faction support units. Now, with the Squad v8.0 update, we have a lot of new toys to play with here. This is first up is the Mark 19 AGL emplacement, or the automatic grenade launcher. This can be deployed by the Australian Defence Forces, the British Armed Forces, the Canadian Armed Forces, the Turkish Land Forces, and the US Army and Marine Corps on air assault or light infantry units. Now, the Mark 19 is currently a placeholder for the German GMG automatic grenade launcher that should be used by the British and Canadian Armed Forces. Now, with that, OWI has planned to release more AGLs for other factions here, but let's test it out. This thing should be empty, and let's do a full reload here. And I absolutely love this reload animation we got going on right here. Full reload animation. Wait for it. It's not done yet. There we go. Now, I believe if it's up to 15 meters, it's going to be it's not going to do jack shit. Yep, but anything after that, you're good to fucking go. There we go. We're going to do a full reload again. I just want to showcase you guys the whole reload animations. All right, we're going to fire a few rounds. And then we're going to do a... There we go. And you're back in business. I'm not gonna lie, this thing is a lot of fun. All right, next up on the list is the M113A3 APCs, or the Armored Personnel Carrier, or the 113s. These things were mass produced in the US military here, but we do have different variants of this, including ARM variants, which does include the M2 50 caliber machine gun, or the Deuce. We have the Mark 19 grenade launcher right here, and we do also have a logistics version, and also a mortar system, which you guys are gonna find out pretty soon. For the 113 logistics version of it, it does have up to 2,000 combined that you can load up with this. Now, these APCs will appear on the US Armored Mechanized support units, as well as the CAF Armored Logistic variant, and the Turkish Land Forces Armored and Mechanized units, the Logistics variant. Now, here we have the M10-64A3 mortar carrier. So this APC does feature a M2 50 caliber on top, but also a 120mm mortar system in the rear. So this is going to be a interesting thing to use out here. To note that this will appear in the US mechanized and support units, as well as the Turkish Land Forces support unit as well. But let's try this bad boy out. All right, just a heads up, the F1 is the driver, the F2 is going to be the mounted machine gun up top, and the F3 will be the mortar system here. So let me just put down a marker on the map. Okay. So the it can reach up to 3,620 meters out there. and it does showcase a time to impact as well, so you can tell your friendlies out there, like, hey, splash, splash, splash. So it's got really long range. Okay, we get that here. Let's say, for instance, okay, my vehicle's right there. We're gonna do it across the map right here. Yeah, it could easily reach that. Like, nope, it's just gonna laugh at it. So we're gonna put an observe marker right here. The minimum range that it could do is going to be about 600. Yeah, 600 meters, give or take. So we're gonna fire a couple rounds here. So it does have, you know, high explosive impact rounds, smoke rounds, but the number 2 is high explosive near surface. I'm going to show you exactly what it does here. So we're going to fire a few rounds here. All right. Those rounds are out. Let's see the impact here. Jeez. That looks scary, but let's get a close-up on the action right there. So I'm going to fire a couple more rounds. All right, 630 range, so it did deviate a little bit. Okay. Firing. That is absolutely fucking scary. Now here we have the M7A3, or the Bradley B-Fist variant here. Now this variant is basically, it nips the tow system that's usually on the Bradley for advanced optics and sensor pod. This vehicle will replace the standard Bradley on the US armored and the mechanized units. So again, you're thinking to yourself, okay, it has an advanced sensor pod. Does it mean IR thermals or anything like that? Like, no, it's basically, if you want to think about it, more of a balancing act at this point. So you will have, you know, the 25mm turret and everything, but it just doesn't really, you know, that's it. There's no tow system, no nothing. If we want to actually, you know, go inside the sucker here, if I could show you guys, here's the gunner. All right, so nothing really, you know, different from your Bradley. Nothing I could do. You got your AP, HE, coaxial, and the smoke launchers here. That's really it. So now, because we have the Mark 19 emplacement, we will have also Mark 19 vehicle variants, including some that we have right here, the Mark 19 APC. We also have the Mark 19 Humvee as well. And if we just want to scoot over here just a little bit, we have the Mark 19 for the MRAP system. The USMC will also get a variant of the RHIB Mark 19 variant on their amphibious assault vehicles as well. So the Turkish Land Forces is getting some love. First off, the Land Forces Logistic Command Battle Group, which is going to be a support unit. They will use 3 BMC logistic trucks, as well as Cobra 2 MRAPs, ACV-15 APCs, as well as receiving the new 113s and the APC mobile mortar system. They also have the UH-60 helicopter as well. This vehicle will use PKT door gunners and is available for their air assault and support units. They will also be updating the existing Turkish Land Forces troops uniforms to be more authentic, so you can go check them out. All right, the Russian ground forces, they're going to be getting some new toys as well. First up, a new subfaction, the 205th Separate Mortar Rifle Brigade. These are mechanized units. They will fill in for the ground forces here, focusing on the new BMP-3 as well as the BMP-2M infantry fighting vehicles. They are also supported by MTLB APCs as logistics and armored personnel carriers. So here is one of the Russian ground forces' newest toys, the BMP-2M IFV. So the noticeable main difference we have here is it doesn't just have one Cornet system, it has 4. Yes, 4 Cornets on top of it. It also features a grenade launch as well. This vehicle will be available for the mechanized Russian ground forces out there. So let's just jump in the vehicle. Let me showcase it to you more. So there is a new anti-tank, you know, guided missile overhaul that they did, but just to show you guys what this bad boy could do on top of the, you know, the armor piercing, the fragmentation that you know of. Here is the Cornet system here, or with the beam binding ATGM. Now, you can fire one after another, but if you fire, let's say, 2 missiles, one after another, the first missile is going to lose its guidance because you're now on the second missile. So, for instance, let me shoot at the 500-meter target here. This is the new guidance missile system that's introduced with the beam riding. So now I can fire it again on this target, and then fire another one. And yep, now the guidance for that missile is gone. The guidance for the second one is there. So remember, if you want to fire this, you can't just fire it all at, you know, one after another, because the guidance system will be lost. You need to fire one and just aim at your target, let the guidance system do its thing. And there you go. And if you want to make things a little bit more fun, you do have a fragmentation thing on top. So have at it. Just screw up someone's day with this. Fuck them up 6 ways to Sunday. This is going to be a really fun toy for a lot of armor squads out there. Here we have the BMP 3M IFV variant. This does use a 100mm cannon as well as a 30mm automatic cannon, coaxial machine guns, and a Bastion anti-tank guided missile system. This vehicle will be available for the Russian ground forces mechanized as well as the amphibious assault units, but let's take a look under the hood here. We're in the gunner seat right now. We have the 30mm going on. All right, where's the, yep, the 100mm fragmentation, high explosive rounds, which we all know this thing does big boom. And the Bastion missile guide. Now, again, this is a beam riding system. I'll go more into it later on in the video, but for reference, guidance system in, there we go. And then everything else in between. A vehicle that needs no introduction, the T-90A tank. Yep, this is the 3rd generation main battle tank that replaces the T-72 series. This will use similar armaments to the T-72 in-game, but it does have a fully upgraded frontal and side armor hull and the frontal turret armor. OWI does have plans to differentiate this vehicle from the T-72 variant of it in the future. This vehicle will be available for the Russian ground forces armored, combined arms, motorized, and light infantry units. And it looks fucking beautiful. Next up is the BMP-1AM IFV. So essentially this is an upgraded BMP-1 that uses the same turret from the BTR-82As. This will replace the BMP-2 on the Russian ground forces armor unit and appear on mechanized unit as well. So yeah, it's just literally taking 2 things, the hull of the BMP and taking the turret of a BTR 82A and just combine them together. All right, the insurgents and the irregular militia forces are getting one new toy, which is the Cornet ATGM mounted technical truck. These will be featured in both factions for their light infantry and motorized units. So the Russian VDV, or their airborne forces, are getting a new addition, a slight change, as you might say. So instead of having their standard fragmentation grenades, they're getting RGO grenades. And if you don't know what RGO is, they also mean impact grenades, like so. I know you're all going to have a lot of fun with that, so we'll let it be. All right, just make sure you don't do too close to you, because again, if you, like, let's say, do it right there, it'll act as a regular grenade. And I actually need to go back here. But at a certain distance, it will go boom. So just FYI. Next up, the Canadian Armed Forces is actually getting an updated TAP-V. This is going to be more authentic here. It will feature a 40mm automatic grenade launcher system, a 7.62 machine gun, combined turret. Now, this will be the only TAP-V variant. Note that the Mark 19 is again a placeholder for the German GMG automatic grenade launcher that should be used for the C-16. But let's just, you know, have fun with it, and let's just jump in there and just showcase to you the turret. So, turret system here. All right, grenade launch, the C-16 will be the first one, the machine gun second, and the smoke launcher third, but let's just have at it here. Stabilizer on. Have fun with it, Canada. So OWI has been hard at work overhauling the anti-tank guided missile system, or the ATGMs. Now, there are two different types of system that will be in the game now. Wire-guided ATGMs, like the TOW we have right here, the Conquerors, the HJ-73Cs, the AT-3s, the HJ-8s, and the F-2 Milans. And also the other variant is beam-riding ATGMs, like the Cornet, the Bastions, and the Reflex. But let's check out the wire-guided one first. So the wire-guided variants will have an advantage that will have an easier time hitting moving targets without losing guidance. The weakness is if there is something in the terrain, an obstacle or something like that, it could break the wire, and they have less effective and accuracy than the beam riders. They also cannot be fired on the move. So well, let me just show you how it's fired regularly here. We'll do 1,000 meters out, firing. The wire-guided's going in. It's not like a sniper beam now. It actually kind of moves around a little bit of the distance. Oh, actually, it just broke the wire. Hold on. Let's reload here again. I think it went through the hole right below the sign. All right, let's take a look here. Let's do an easier one. Let's do... Here we go, 750 meters. All right, firing. So... And it hit the ground. Yeah, third time's the fucking charm here. So remember, you won't be as accurate as you should be on the TOW beforehand. They totally redid this, so it will take a little to get used to. But here we go. That should hit. Yep. So again, you can break the wire here either by, if we're going too far, it'll break, or an obstacle. So let's say, for instance, our TAP V is engaging a vehicle out there, and the TAP V just so happens to get in front with it. This is what happens here. I fire. All right, it's past the distance. And the wire breaks, and that sucker, it is just literally going somewhere. I lost distance here. So let's just do that again. So it could be like a tree, a building, like a placement, a vehicle. It could break the wire. Let's say enemy helicopter coming in, trying to pull a fast one on us. Okay, let me go here, firing. And then I turn, wire's broken. You will see a red outline, like you got hit, like if you were infantry, and a wire-guided ATGM will blink yellow up top right, showcasing the wire has broken. So it does take a little to get used to, because again, it is going to be easier to hit a moving target without losing guidance, but it's less effective range and accuracy. So, which again, you might hit your target, you might not. Let's go for 1,000 meters. And this thing's kind of going all over the place here. I'm trying to get it right there. Yep. Okay, I was lucky that time. Next up, the beam riding ATGMs like the Cornet or the Bastion or the Reflex. The strengths is it has greater accuracy at long range, and it can be fired on the move, and it has a more resilient guidance system. The weakness, it's harder to hit a fast-moving target at medium to long range and is vulnerable to IR smoke countermeasures. So, let's go for a 750 meter. You'll see the circle starting to close in. That's the guidance system. And there you go. Much easier time targeting something. Let's go for a longer target here. All right. Longer target, 1,500 meters out, firing. When the circle closes in closer, the guidance system's in and... Nope, missed. But you get the idea. So like I said, with the beam riding ATGMs, its weakness, one of the weaknesses is it's vulnerable to IR smoke countermeasures. Now, what is the IR smoke countermeasures? Now, vehicle-mounted smoke dischargers are now accurately represented with their infrared countermeasure qualities. The smoke will not confuse the guidance systems of the beam riding that it uses, and the distance that the smoke canisters will launch has been increased from 25 to 50 meters. So, if I see something aiming at me like, oh shit, launch my smoke canisters. Now, that's going to confuse the guidance system of the beam riding ATGMs like the Cornet. So, now you're thinking to yourself, okay, so it's anything smoke related, right? No, the only thing smoke related is the vehicle-mounted smoke dischargers like you see on tanks, IFVs, and other vehicles. Now, if you're saying to yourself, okay, well, I'm in the driver's seat. What about my smoke generator that I'm just like popping out of my ass here, right here? Well, no, that's not the case. The smoke generator will not will not deter it, as well as smoke grenades that infantry has will also not deter the IR blocking capabilities as well. It just, they don't have it. Only the vehicle-mounted smoke dischargers has those capabilities. Alright, I'm going to quickly go through their system and gameplay updates here, because there is quite a bit of them, so I'm just going to be like, okay, let's do this, and this. So, first up, added a seizure warning screen as part of the startup boot process, okay. They made several quality life improvements to vehicle recovery times. This event is to reduce frustration when resettling vehicles, since the current vehicle handling, well, if you try resetting a vehicle, it could get a little crazy. So, for instance, reduce base time for teleport recovery from 20 to 20 seconds, down from 30, which awesome. And they also did other few things too. But overall, they made it less frustrating, which thank you, OWI. They also removed helicopters from all conventional armored units except the VDV, which is the Russian Airborne Forces, which will continue to have helicopters, but well, they will continue to have a helicopter, but it's on a 30-minute delayed spawn. So this event is to provide a more meaningful trade-off when selecting conventional armor units, which will be due to a lack of air mobile logistics for the entire round duration. So if you select an armor unit, don't expect helicopters to back you up for logistics or anything. So just FYI. They've improved bullpup rifles, gunplay characteristics, so they made it feel better and more effective in combat, which is awesome. Clear sights now cancels when steady aim is held, even if the sway is too high to see through sights. They added a new accessibility setting, which is disable weapon model blur. This is essentially disables depth of field, a depth of field effect from blurring your weapon and not aiming. You know, thank you, OWI. Thank you. They also set all weapons using the C79A2 magnified optics for primarily, it's basically the Canadian Armed Forces, to default to 100 meter 0 from 200 meters. So they also reduced the recoil for the Turkish Land Forces SMG, the SOR 109T. So basically, it'll feel better in combat. They also slightly increased weapon stabilization time after deploying a bipod. They consolidated insurgent and irregular militia forces, armored, non-armored, technicals, and Urals to technical SMG, technical SPG, all that dandy stuff. They'll spawn randomly. Consolidated Australian Defence Forces PMV Mag 58 and the Mag 58X3 to the PMV. They will spawn different variants randomly. And as well as for the Marine Corps, the M1151 armored and unarmored units, again, they will spawn randomly. So they also toned down the brightness to the PLA and MC, or their Marine Corps faction, because they had a bright blue BDUs. So yeah, that's gonna help out a lot actually. They adjusted the maximum number of certain fortification deployables to either high limit or no limit for conventional factions. The intent is to reduce the defensive potential for non-support conventional units. So conventional support units can have a maximum of 6 bunkers with 4 observation towers per fob, and all other conventional units can have a maximum of 4 bunkers and 2 observation towers per fob. They also increased the team-wide availability of heavy anti-tank or HAT rolls from 2 to 4 for conventional factions of light infantry and air assault units, which is really fucking good. So let's say we chose a air assault unit, but we're going against a armored faction on the opposite team. Now we got 4 hats to roll with on top of the other stuff, so it should better even the playing field. They also, really cool thing for server owners out there, they added a vote setting for server owners that allows them to show one unique map only at a time during votes. So we're used to the voting system like, hey, here's, let's say, Fallujah RAS or Fallujah Invasion. Now it'll only show just one Fallujah, map specifically. So it should, add in more variety. They also added a vote setting for server owners that limit the number of options for each game mode that can be shown within the vote. For example, it'll only show 1 invasion, 1 ASS layer, but up to 4 RAS layers. They also added vote settings for server owners to trigger only votes for maps, not faction or units. So units will be chosen randomly from all available units on the layer and will be taken into account that the faction and unit skip setting and systematic matchup setting. The admin can also enable and disable voting, which is actually really cool. And they added an indicator to unit preview screen that informs players when selecting gameplay elements like commander abilities. Boats, helicopters are unavailable on map selected, or the selected map. Excellent. Adjusted the text, voting text screen for clarity. Added music for things. And he basically got a few other things too, including updated the DLSS plugin setting, added special characteristics for the insurgents and militia factions for their descriptions on unit info. Reduce the number of T-72B3s for the VDV, or the Russian Airborne Forces, for armored from 2 to 1. And they also reduced the number of LAV-25 IFVs on the United States Marine Corps armored from 2 to 1. Again, balance. So, and other than that, you also have basically general bug fixes as well. They take it into account. I'm looking at the list here. They fixed a lot of shit. So, also map updates and bug fixes. General standardized all large map RAS layers to have 7 flag layouts. Smaller maps like Cora, Fool's Road, and all that dandy stuff will still have 5 or 6 flag layers. The intent is to standardize the RAS experience on larger maps and enable us to get more accurate analytics of rounds of game. They increase the number of flags. Let's just say that. They fixed the bug that caused the wrong voice lines to play when objective captured on invasion layer. Meh. And they also added a bunch of other things here, all that dandy stuff. And also we can expect a new weapon skin pack called the Clash pack, which I should have a picture up here somewhere, which you guys can see. The Clash pack will feature 3 weapon skins for use for the VDV and the Marine Corps faction. Also, just a heads up, the OWI is aware of the issue where frame rate may have an impact on weapon handling. They are looking into a solution for it, so they'll update you guys whenever that is available. Placements in certain vehicles may occasionally have camera perspective issues when leaving the vehicles and reloading the vehicle weapons. BMP 1 IFV guided wire may appear to pop out of the vehicle and move radically after firing. And the new RGO impact grenades may detonate when the player is down while holding one. Oh shit. So yeah, honestly, this update brings a lot of cool shit to the board here, and I'm really excited to see this in action. I was like, when I was recording this, I'm like, oh, people are gonna have a fucking field day, like the mortar carrier APCs, the Mark 19, all that dandy stuff here. And honestly, this is a lot of really cool things coming to Squad, and I'm really happy and excited to showcase you all of some of this. So overall, the patch will release when they announce when they will release. But other than that, thank you guys for watching this video. Post down in the comment box what is your top favorite thing in this. And other than that, thank you all so much for checking out this video. I'm the Geeky Pan, your tactical degenerate weeb that likes to play games, and I'm also one of the Squad creative partners out there. Other than that, thank you all so much. Don't forget to check out my streams weekly on Twitch and YouTube. Don't forget to join my Discord, and keep being awesome out there. This is Geeky Pan here. I'm out. Stay geeky, my friends.